Some love stories begin with flowers, others begin with a kiss, but this one began on a dusty street with a bullied boy and a little girl who chose to stand in front of him. He promised to come back, she promised to wait, and love asked them one question: how long can a promise survive before time breaks it? Welcome once again to the Tales by the Wordsmith, where we tell original Nigerian stories that connect and linger with us. Today is a special day altogether. It's Valentine's Day, and today I will be telling you a story of a love that waited even in the midst of pain and suffering. The story of the promise that waited.
The streets of Ojuelegba smelled like rain and burnt tires. Children played between wooden stalls. Traders shouted prices into the thick Lagos air. It was the kind of neighborhood where everybody knew everybody, where poverty didn't hide. Chidi was 5 years old the first time he saw her. Small, quiet, always looking down. He preferred books to people. That morning he sat alone under a rusted zinc awning, tracing letters in the dust. Then he heard them. 3 older boys circled him like vultures. One snatched the stick from his hand. "Small boy with a form book, you think say you wise?" Chidi's throat tightened. He wanted to speak, to defend himself, but the words stayed locked inside. The bully shoved him. Chidi fell into the dirt. Then a voice, sharp, fearless. "Leave Ham alone." He looked up. She stood at the gate, hands on her hips, chin lifted. 7 years old, but she carried herself like a warrior. Her yellow dress was faded and torn. Her name was Adaize, and everyone knew her. The bullies hesitated. "Wetin concern you?" Adaize stepped forward. "I say make una leave am. You deaf?" The tallest boy laughed. "Now small girl wan fight us." She didn't flinch. She picked a stone, gripped it tight, stared him down. "Try me," she said quietly. The bullies mumbled insults and walked away. Adaize crouched beside Chidi, brushed the dust off his shirt. "You know fit talk?" she asked, not unkindly. He shook his head, ashamed. She smiled. "No worry, I go talk for you." From that day, she became his voice. They were inseparable. Neighbors thought they were siblings, same compound, always together. But they weren't family. They were something deeper. Adaze walked him to school every morning, waited for him after, fought off anyone who bothered him, shared her lunch when his mother forgot. She was loud where he was quiet, bold where he was timid, strong where he was fragile. But she struggled. In class, while Chidi solved math problems faster than the teacher could write them, Adaze stared at her notebook, lost. Letters danced in front of her eyes. Numbers made no sense. She failed tests again and again. But Chidi never saw her cry until the day he told her. He was 7 now. She was 9. They sat on the cracked pavement outside the compound, sharing groundnuts. The evening sun painted the sky orange and purple. "Ada," Chidi said softly, "I need to tell you something." She looked at him, chewing slowly. "My papa, him don't get better work for Lagos." Adaze stopped chewing. "We dey move next week." The groundnut slipped from her hands. She stared at him, unblinking. "Move?" Her voice was small. "You dey go Lagos?" He nodded. For the first time since he'd known her, Adaze's face crumbled. Tears filled her eyes, spilling down her cheeks before she could stop them. "No," she whispered. "You no fit leave me." Chidi's chest ached. He reached for her hands, held them tight. "I go come back," he said, his voice shaking. I promise." She shook her head. "You go forget me." "I no go forget you." He squeezed her hands tighter. "When I come back, I go marry you." Adaze blinked, stunned. "Marry me?" He nodded, serious. "I swear, I go come back and I go marry you." She wiped her tears with the back of her hand. "You sure?" "I swear for God." She stared at him for a long moment. Then, slowly, she nodded. "Okay," she whispered. "I go wait."
2 years passed. Chidi wrote letters at first, long, careful letters that Adaeze couldn't read. She paid a neighbor to read them to her, memorized every word. Then the letters stopped. Adaeze told herself he was busy, that he would write again soon, but soon never came. Then tragedy struck. Her father died suddenly. Heart attack, the doctor said. Her mother followed 6 months later, broken by grief. The uncles came. They took the house, the furniture, the little money her parents had saved. They left her nothing. At 11 years old, Adaeze was alone. She moved in with a distant aunt who barely tolerated her, slept on a mat in the corridor, woke before dawn to fetch water, cooked, cleaned, endured. But she held on to the promise, even when years passed with no word, even when she turned 15, then 18, then 20. She waited. At 24, Adaeze finally admitted the truth to herself. He wasn't coming back. She sat on the same cracked pavement where he'd made his promise, staring at the city lights in the distance. She had nothing, no education, no family, no future. But she had survived. She decided, if he wouldn't come back, she would go find him. She sold the only thing of value she had left, her mother's wrapper, and bought a bus ticket to Lagos. Lagos swallowed her whole. The city was noise and speed and indifference. She walked through streets she didn't recognize, asking strangers about a boy she barely remembered. No one knew him. Her money ran out in days. She slept under bridges, begged for food, nearly gave up. Then she met a woman who sold pure water at the bus stop. "You fit hawk?" Adaze nodded, so she hawked. Every morning, she loaded a basin with sachets of pure water and bottles of soft drinks. She walked through traffic, under the brutal sun, calling out to drivers, "Pure water, cold drink." Her feet bled, her back ached, but she survived. She stopped looking for him. The promise became a ghost. It was a Wednesday afternoon, 3 months later. Traffic was thick on Ikorodu Road. Adaze moved between cars, her voice hoarse. "Pure water, cold drink." A black jeep stopped ahead. She approached, lifting her basin. The driver's window rolled down. "Adaze!" Her heart stopped. She looked up. The man staring at her was older, sharper. His face had changed, but his eyes... Chidi. Her basin slipped from her head, crashing to the ground. Water sachets scattered everywhere. He opened the door, stepped out. He wore a clean shirt, polished shoes. He looked like someone who belonged in this city, but his eyes were the same. "Ada," he whispered. She couldn't move, couldn't breathe. He crossed the space between them in 3 steps and pulled her into his arms. She broke, sobbing into his chest, her body shaking. All the years of waiting and pain pouring out. "I sorry I take so long." He took her to a quiet restaurant, bought her food, let her cry. Then he explained. He had come back. 3 years after he left. When he was 10, his family had returned to the old neighborhood, but Adize was gone. The neighbors said she'd left. No one knew where. He searched, asked everyone, went back every year. He never stopped looking. "I been defined you," he he said, his voice breaking. "I swear, Ada, I never forget." She stared at him, tears streaming. "I wait," she whispered. "I wait tire." He reached across the table, taking her hands. "I know," he said, "and I sorry, but I dey here now." He knelt, right there in the small restaurant, in front of strangers. "Adeze," he said, "marry me." She nodded, unable to speak. "Yes," she finally whispered. "Yes." The wedding was simple. His family welcomed her with open arms. His mother wept, remembering the little girl who used to protect her son. Adeze stood in the small living room of their new home, staring out the window at the Lagos skyline. Chidi came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "You still dey think?" he asked softly. She leaned back into him. "I just dey remember, waiting, how I nearly give up." He kissed her temple. "But you no give up." She smiled, placing her hands on his. "No, I wait, and I come back." She turned in his arms, looking up at him. "You keep your promise," she said. He smiled. "I tell you I go come back." And as the city hummed around them, they stood together. Two children who became strangers, who became everything. The promise had waited, and so had love.
Some promises are made in innocence. Some are tested by time. And some are kept against all odds. On this Valentine's Day, remember that real love doesn't rush. It waltzes, it searches, and it keeps its word. Happy Valentine's Day. If this story touched your heart, please leave a like. It helps more than you know. Drop a comment, share, and follow the channel for more beautiful stories like this one. We post new videos every week on Mondays and on weekends. Once again, I wish you a happy Valentine's Day. Have a wonderful weekend and a lovely celebration. Thank you for listening. Until next time, this is the Wordsmith signing out. Peace.